All right, all right. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Excited to spend some time with y'all today. You
Got it.
beautiful women, you beautiful goddesses.
Good to see you guys too. Fabulous
Yeah.
folks, beautiful goddesses,
Yes,
divine
yes.
beings, magical
Mm,
manifestors, rainmakers,
eh,
shapeshifters. Hmm.
yes. I am excited to welcome y'all to another episode of The Goddess Glow, the Red Lip Alchemy Chronicles. So I'll share our description, which we hope to provide a sacred space where Black femmes, as African descended creatives, come together to connect, converse, and radiate brilliance. This podcast honors the divine power within all of us, weaving African diasporic practices, indigenous traditions, ancestral veneration, and restorative rituals into a tapestry of personal and communal alchemy. Through bold storytelling, spiritual exploration, and collective wisdom, we celebrate the red lip as a symbol of rebellion, beauty, and sacred sisterhood. Thank you for joining us on this journey to celebrate our power, your power, honor our ancestors, your ancestors, and glow unapologetically. And I would not be myself without adding Professor K's Purple Heart, Golden Golden Shower, and Red Lips go along with it. Let me pin y'all so we can see all of ourselves on here. Because I don't think I did that last time, so or this time around. So I'm adding us so we can all so I can see everybody's beautiful faces as we're talking. All right, it is Friday. I am so happy. I'm ready for the weekend. And I want to check in and see just how folks are doing and how your week has been since we last connected.
We're like, did you unmute? Did you unmute? It is Friday, but it's not my Friday. So I'm working overnight tonight and tomorrow night. So I'm just trying to, after this, I'll get a nice good nap in and get ready for these babies. In terms of how the week's been, my energy has still been low. I think it's just a busy season with work and work travel, and lots of peopling. So I'm kind of in what I call my low power mode, like when your cell phone battery is about to die and you only got 20%. So you put it in low power mode and just do the essential things until you can recharge it. And so that's where I'm operating in this low power mode until I get through. My work travel slows down after mid-May. So that's been me. But even while in low power mode, I've shifted what I use my energy for, and I've been shifting it towards manifesting and thinking about how I want to make it rain in my life. So even in that low power mode, feeling
I love
think
that.
about
I
when I'm
keep hearing rain down on me. Anybody else? It's just me. I don't
that
know what
one,
else
but the
y'all.
remix where they bring in a little Wayne, I make it rain in the middle. You, oh, there you go. I was gonna say you paused, Ebony, but
I was singing the whole song.
oh yeah, you'll have to redo that. You were paused. Can we get an encore presentation?
It was the rain down on me. That's the song that keeps coming to my head with the rain making that we have today. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I love hearing that. I love hearing that you, even though you have had low energy, you've been finding ways to refuel that and then balance it, not feel like you have to put yourself back in high energy mode too. So thanks for sharing that. Professor K.
Hey, I feel like I'm just recalibrating from the travels and the spring break and all of that kind of stuff. So my fourth born just went back to school on Tuesday. So we're kind of getting back into our rhythm. I have a garden update. I did go back to another garden class and I got some more plants. So I got some, or herbs, because I'm doing the herb garden. So I got some more dill and parsley, and then I planted from the seed. It's called Provision Bean, which I like the name of it, or Provider Bean. And one of them has sprouted. So it's four seeds. So one has come up. And so I'm keeping an eye on the other ones. But so the herb garden is herb gardening, but now it's a veggie garden too because I have the beans in there. And then what else has been going on? I'm excited about
like Sex Down South and that kind of stuff that's coming up. And then I've just been I've been announcing. So this week, okay, so a couple of things. Two people emailed me this week, which gave me like super helpful reminders that I'm doing exactly what I need to be doing. I'm exactly where I need to be. So one person reached out. I did a YouTube video because I've been posting my YouTube videos about getting the book contract with Yale University Press for my Audre Lorde book. And so a woman who's a professor reached out to me and said, I'm loving your videos. I share them with faculty at my university. I'm about to put this book out there. I'm talking to one press and I hadn't really thought about Yale. So I'm curious about Yale and your experience. I just shared with her my experience and gave her my editor information with who I'm working with at Yale. And then I reached out to the editor and said, and I don't know this person personally, but I've cited her work before. Like I've read and cited her work before. So, I told that to the editor. And so like she was happy to get the editor's information. The editor was happy for that referral. So I was like, look at the divine connection and wonderful thing. So that was one thing. And then I get another email from somebody who's like, and the subject line is like happily unmarried and erotic empowerment. And so she's like, I see on your website, when you look under those tabs, it says coming soon, when? And I was like, oh, this is the perfect reminder. One, I need to update my website because I do have those scheduled. So I let her know that I'm offering the Happily Unmarried series in June, and I'm offering the Erotic Empowerment series in August ahead of Sex Down South. And then I'll do like the Kink series after Sex Down South. And then also in May, I'm doing like a Reimagining Motherhood series. So it was just a reminder of like people are looking for the things that I am offering. And so she was saying, she was inquiring about that, and she was basically like, been married, over it, looking to like, I want to build a life outside of the context of marriage. I want to reconnect to my sensuality and sexuality outside of these societally prescribed scripts. And then she's also working on a book. So like, she's also good for like La Belle Vie writers, right? And then she's like, oh, and I just ordered your book and I can't wait to read it. And I was like, this was like a wink from the universe of like, when I'm like, I live at the intersections of high achievers and happily married and erotic empowerment. And I'm like, I am my target audience. I'm like, if I'm a high achieving Black woman who wanted to get happily unmarried and delightfully divorced, but still wants to write my books, who was in the academy, but, got out of the academy and still writing my books, who wanted to embrace this erotic empowerment journey as part of and a continuation of like my growth and evolution post marriage. Like, I'm like, there's other people who want to do this too. And so she literally like hit all the highlights of the stuff. And I was just like, oh, it's a reminder, like, yes, there are people out here who are literally looking for these intersections. So that was very encouraging and inspiring for me this week. And I appreciate that. So yeah, and then I'm still doing my storytelling class and my hip hop class. So that is, that's still happening. So those are all my updates.
Fantastic updates.
Wow, so
Living
many
like
good
we're
things.
no matter what.
Yes, yes. I love that.
What about you, Flo? How's your week been?
This week it's been exhausting. I've been supporting a new mama. So I've been at the house doing some nighttime feedings and trying to help with meals and all of those things. Yes, all the babies, only we need to make that baby a little browner.
It's light skin. They're yellow
It's
like
light.
me.
There. Uh, so other, but also feeling like, right, like I know the support that I received when I had my babies and how meaningful that was. And so when I see someone else who may not have the same community, I want to be able to, I don't want anyone to miss that. I was reading something just recently, and I'm gonna butcher it, but it was just like, I think what we if 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 that person doesn't have it, we don't have it. It was something around that context, and I know I'm not saying it well enough for it to probably have the impact, but that's how I felt, right? Like if I have this, then she should have this, and I'm going to figure this out. And so I've been bringing in not just myself but other tribe too. So I'm not the only one who has to hold that. I don't think anyone has to hold one thing. So that's been exhausting, but also really beautiful to see a little new life growing and a family have some additional support. My family, my community. And then I was really excited excited last night to link up with my sis Tiffany, the maximalist, Afro maximalist, and plan a time and plan a time for this summer in July, or no, not July, August. See, she's trying to manifest and make rain with another date of getaways, so it's in my brain. But looking forward to traveling with the Afro maximalist to Tanzania in August.
Listen, I'm so excited. I put on my zebras in honor of our trip to Tanzania to go see the zebras. But as you were reflecting on what your week has been, I was just thinking back to your birthday that you had recently. And
Mhm.
so, Ebony, of all my friends, like my academic friends and bougie friends, you're the thuggiest of them all. And even though you're the biggest thug and talk the most trash, you're also the biggest nurturer, right? And you're always taking care of everyone else. And so during your birthday, your children reminded you like this is a season for you to also let people take care of you. And so
Mhm.
I'm just curious, as you spent this past week taking care of this baby, how are you inviting in more care for folks to take care of you to manifest that, man?
Mm, mm, mm.
Mhm.
Good question. Yeah, she clocked it, Trina. I didn't need all of that. I don't need your little fingers. I going out tonight with my son and my nephew, and so I'm looking forward to going out and having dinner, and then we're going to the Kings game, and then we're going out to dessert, and just having some really good family time. Saturday, I have absolutely nothing planned, which was very intentional, and I'm just excited to do some gardening. And clean up around my home. I got a new Nook kitchen sofa delivered over this last week. So everything's kind of in disarray, but I love like being able to take that disorganization and put it into a little bit of organized chaos because it's still a little wild in my house. But I like it that way. And then, yeah, and just hold some time for quiet. And so I've got some plans to do some restorative work too.
Love to hear it. Love to hear it.
Yes, to inviting, receiving care, even as you're giving care. And I do think it's really beautiful that you're offering this gift to this new mom because it's so much to, have a new baby and all of that kind of stuff. So it really is a
She
beautiful
has a
gift that you're
4-year-old
giving.
too, so
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a lot. That's a
it
lot.
is.
I remember them days, or I don't
all
remember them.
these kids.
Exactly. All them
So
children.
many kids, so many kids.
So many kids. So many SKUs.
I always joke about that because y'all know we out here with 4. So I say
Hmm.
we because Tiff's my co-parent.
Right. Oh yeah. No, we all got 4
It's
children.
We got 4 too. Yeah, all of us.
Right. We
all of
all
us. So
do.
we're all mothers of many.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So yeah, so it's so good to hear y'all's week, and I'm so glad to be back in the flow with all of y'all week to week.
Come
No
on,
pun
Ebony
intended.
Flow in the flow.
Yes. So speaking of being back in the flow, I've been
Yeah.
doing therapy sessions right before I come in with y'all. And like one of the things that we do is we do like body scans and stuff. And I noticed this week how grounded I felt. And so I think that is a testament to all the root chakra work we did with the Temple of the Ancestors first. And so I am glad that we're back in the rhythm and the flow. And now like that same groundedness that I feel with my root chakra, I'm looking forward to feeling that same openness and juiciness with my sacral chakra and my conjuring. So yeah, it's working. It's alchemizing for me. And I'm glad we're back in the flow.
Also,
Mhm.
shout out to your therapist for doing the body work so that there is an embodied practice alongside, like as part of the practice. So, yeah, shout out to your therapist and shout out to you for doing the speed dating with the therapist to find the person that was good for you.
Right.
Shout out to Black mental health and normalizing therapists and for the good therapists who are out there helping us be our best selves.
I don't want to skim over what Professor K said about you speed dating. Just real quick, only because what we gonna say?
No, she's talking about the speed dating for the therapist that I did.
I know,
Okay.
I
Okay.
know. Yeah, what you think? What is there
Like,
something else I'm missing?
I'm like,
Look,
no,
she
that's what I'm saying.
already
Like,
feel she like, I don't want to speed date. Don't make
Right.
me speed date Ebony. Ebony, like, I ain't even say nothing about that.
Right, right. No, I'm just saying that, it's hard out here trying to find a therapist. And so it's easy for us to just be like, never mind, this is a lot of work. And have had we've all had experiences, I think, with therapists that did not meet our needs, or even not only didn't meet our needs, but cause harm. And so for you to remain so committed to your mental health, despite those, past interactions, I think it is. So, I know you were like, shout out to Black mental health and really skated over it, but I
shout
think
out to me for being
yes,
so
thank you. There it is. That's what I was looking for.
dope.
That's
Yeah,
real.
it has been work. And so, I was in therapy in Philly and I had a therapist who was not amazing, but was good and got the job done. And
Yeah.
then when I came out here, I was like, okay, like I've dealt with a lot of the acute stressors and got through those with my other therapist. So now, like, how can I do a deeper dive? But had a really bad first therapist. But I think for me, it was good that I had at least a good experience before. So I didn't just dismiss it as therapy doesn't work and therapy is terrible, but it was just like this therapist isn't the right therapist for me.
Yeah.
And the pandemic happened. I couldn't get anyone, and then I had another one who was a really bad fit for me. And so I am very proud of myself for like it's hard, and then like opening up that box and like pulling the band-aid off of all those wounds like over and over again. So because it had been so hard before and like retelling those stories, I was like, let me just like do all the hard stuff at once. So I literally like found a bunch of therapists, did a bunch of pre-consults, and then chose 3 of them. And then within 1 week, in a very exhausting week, I did like full hour sessions with 3 people to figure out who was going to be the best fit for me. And so it was like an intense week. But I think it was better to do that over a week as opposed to trying someone, they not work, and then months later having to get the energy and the confidence back up to try someone else. So it worked really well. And the therapist that I found is a really great fit for me. I wanted to explore EMDR, which I had never done before. But me and that little magical blue ball, we be going to all kinds of places, and it has really helped me process like deep decades and decades old trauma. And so I'm proud of myself.
Mhm. So, all right. Well, we are going to go ahead and dive into our next conjurer. I worked on trying to make sure this name was correct, but if folks have different ways of saying it, we have Modjadi. And so
You said it with a little extra sensuality as well.
listen, she is a water whisperer. She is the goddess of manifestation from South Africa. And her affirmation is divine blessings flow to me so easily. Not easily, but so easily. And so her message is Dumela daughter, I see you. You are a rainmaker, shapeshifter, an alchemist, a sorceress. May the universe rain down blessings upon you forevermore. May we always make it rain upon you. And so,
So first, can we
yeah,
just pause at
yeah,
that so easily
yeah.
because I'm reading the same stuff y'all read, and I saw that was the message for the week. But the emphasis that you placed on it, the emphasis I placed
Yes.
on it when I read it, and so it was a reminder of me. Like it put me back to when I had an amazing personal trainer in Philly, but he would like have me try to do something and I couldn't do it, and I'm like, I can't do it this way, but I can do it this way, and he'd be like, that's the hard way. Like I was trying to give you the easy way to do it, and you can't do the easy way, but you can do the hard way, like make it make sense. And that has been like my entire life. Like when we were teenagers, Professor K was getting periods every 2 months, and I was getting them twice a month. And I'm like, make it make sense. Why I choose the hard way. And so you emphasizing that so easily is a really good invitation for me that like it doesn't have you don't have to struggle or work hard and like in order to get your blessings. Like how do you just let them flow to you so easily? So thank you for that different emphasis as you read it today.
Yeah. And I thought about that just the so easily and what I make hard for myself last night. And I know we're going to get into this as well. But just even planning the trip and struggling with like, oh, could I do 2 weeks? And it's like, but in regards to the length of time of travel, and I'm like, why am I not taking my rest? Why would I not do 2 weeks? What would hold that? What would hold me back from that? Right. And it's not financial, right? And so then I was like, okay, well then it's probably the family ties, right? But there's all these things I think that sometimes I do put as barriers in regards to what flows to me so easily, what I am, what I do have the ability to conjure and bring into my life and manifest easily, but I'm sometimes in my own barrier. But anyhow, okay, I digress. Let's
Yes,
see.
to ease.
Right, yes to ease.
And this is why I'm also glad like that we all bring different energy. And so it's great for Professor K. She brings that ease energy. And so yeah, thanks for being a part of this triad and bringing that easeful energy that me and Ebony be fighting against.
Fighting for no reason, just be getting beat up, black eyes with ourselves, at least with myself. Professor K put in the chat EASE. Yes, ease. Okay. So a little bit about Modjadi. She was the hereditary reign queen of South Africa's people, and had a matrilineal queendom for 500 years. And what I was really struck by with that, right? We already see Professor K putting her hands up.
Look, they had me at no husband.
That's what I knew you. As soon as I was reading, I said, "Oh, this is Professor K's queendom." Uh, no husband. The men were called shadow husbands. In other words, come on,
She
help me
got
make
the deed, but he didn't have access to her queendom.
As
Her,
I was
right.
reading that, I was like, oh, definitely Professor K is all about this life. Like,
Yes.
you can, like, people don't even know you. You know who else I thought about? I thought about how when all that stuff was going down with Keke Palmer and her baby daddy, like, dragging her on the internet for wearing a see-through dress and dancing with Usher. And they were talking about, Mr. Keke. Like, I don't even know his name, right?
Yeah.
As it,
No
as
one
it
does.
should be, as it should
Right.
be. And we were like, we need the husbands like Issa Rae's husband. I don't know that man's name. I don't know what that man looked like. He is just Mr. Issa Rae, right? And so that's also who I was thinking about, of the husbands who have these, strong, amazing women who don't try to dim her light and who are in the shadows. So we all need it.
Mhm. Yes, I agree. Yeah, so she was the reign queen of an all women's dynasty, a fertility goddess, linked to manifesting the richness of the land. And so folks would sing gifts for her to reign in the community, to bring richness to the community by way of being able to grow things. And so they would bring cattle, dancers, and so when they reached that extreme drought, they would come to her to and also beat the graves of their ancestors to try to bring about the rain. And so there's much more to this story. I always say go back, read if you don't have this book or any many lessons out there about many of these goddesses. But that's just a little bit about Modjadi. Did y'all want to add anything else or
I'll just say what
insights?
stood out to me was, in addition to the husband, like the man can only come for that day in the middle of the night. That stood out to me. But also this, because we've talked about this as well. So they're both male and female, and they need no one else to reproduce.
That's right.
And so I also just love that, because we've talked about, like, we bring masculine energy and feminine energy, and where that is on the spectrum varies at different times in our lives. But embracing that. And also that she couldn't take on husbands, but she could take on wives to take care of her personal chores. And I always joke, like, I need a wife to like manage this household. So I also love that she's like, you can't publicly have a husband, but we're gonna give you some helpers to help take care of these personal chores. So that also resonated with me.
Same.
I love the ask with reverence and gratitude, but never despair. So
Mm.
just the connection to like the energy with which we ask for things and the expectation. I mean, again, the ease of it and the expectation of receiving it. Like so approach with reverence and with gratitude, but not despair. So I love that reminder as well.
Lots of good reminders in this one.
The other thing that stood out to me, and they didn't dive into this too deeply, and I didn't do my own personal deep dive because I was diving deep into planning Tanzania trips instead. But so not only the initial message is you're a rainmaker, a shapeshifter, an alchemist, and a sorceress. And so it focused a lot on the rainmaker part, but not on the shapeshifter part. And that is something that resonates with me from Octavia Butler. So in one of her series, the Patternist series, the first book, I can't remember the name of the
I
first
think
book.
it's Wild Seed.
Wow, see, yep. One of the, main protagonists of that is a shapeshifter. And so I really like to connect with that, and be able to shift shapes and be able to heal herself. And so I think that's when I kind of first started tying into this, being a healer who can heal yourself and being able to shift shapes depending on the different environments that you're with. So whenever I read about shapeshifters, it always makes me think of that book.
Shout out to Octavia Butler and Walsey. That book, one of the things that stands out to me in that book is the shapeshifting and how powerful she is, but also this other kind of powerful being that she encounters and the way he's so shady, like
So
on so many different
problematic in
levels.
so many ways. Yeah.
But what stands out to me there too is like the way that he seeks to dominate her is by making her a mother. Right. So he's trying to figure out like who are your kids? Where are they? Because the idea is like if I can manipulate the kids, then I can manipulate the mom, right? If I can tie her down with kids. And so it's this, fantasy science fiction book, but it is so representative of the ways that women have been, like the ways that we get trapped, right? And so it's literally, he's like, oh, I need to get her pregnant as soon as possible so that I can like control her. Like she's too powerful, but I know I can control her if I can, via motherhood. So yeah. But yes to the shapeshifting part too.
Mhm. Well, this section also talked about the law of manifestation. So, one of the things that resonated with me was around that co-creation, us being creators. Wanted to just check to see what y'all thoughts were on that law of manifestation and attraction, and what stood out to you around that.
So I did again like the asking with reverence and gratitude, but not despair. I don't think she used the language of vibration, but the idea of like a magnet and attraction. And it's like, vibrating on a level of that which you want to attract. I like the co-creating part. I like this notion of an asking ceremony, right? Like even in like Christian traditions, there's like that what we used to call the ask principle, like asking you shall receive, seeking you shall find, knocking the door shall be open. And so just the reminder of like vocalizing, verbalizing, and I do journaling and writing things down. And we talked about the vision boards before, but there is something, and we're not on the throat chakra yet, but there is something about like vocalizing and asking for like there's something about naming what you want that I think is very powerful.
Yeah, I love that. And I'm always about like asking the universe, and I always ask, part of my ask is asking the universe to open the doors that need to open and close the doors that need to close as well. Because sometimes there are things that I think I want that aren't truly aligned. And so how do I know, knowing that the universe has my back and always has a better plan for my life than even the one that I have for myself. But I have definitely been leaning into this kind of principle of manifestation. So a lot of my energy this week, even though I have like a bunch of academic writing that I should be doing, but instead where I focused my energy was thinking about planning my sabbatical, which is going to be a full like over a year away from now. But it's important for me to start thinking about how to map that out and what I want that year of 2026 and 2027 to look out like, so that I can think about what I need to do this year to get myself ready, but also just leaning into this conjuring and manifesting approval in the current financial challenges that institutions are making, for me to be able to not just take a sabbatical, but to be able to take a shift that helps me to get closer to my purpose, and just doing a lot of reflecting on how I do spend my time at work and how deeply dissatisfying it has been for me for these past couple of years. And so how can I get to a place where I just feel more joy in the work that I'm doing and more alignment and feel like I'm really spending my time the way it needs to be spent and making the impact that I'm meant to have. And so that has been a large part of my manifestation and dreaming and visioning and speaking this week, as well as thinking about the not work stuff and what things bring me joy and what things fuel me. And travel is one of those things. And so we were working on this trip to go to Tanzania, and then my birthday is coming up this summer. And so I have also been working on taking a solo trip to Tahiti to celebrate my birthday. And then I still also want to go to Belize. So I'm working on putting something in the works for Belize with some friends too. So I've been working on manifesting all the good things and all the juicy things. And in between that stuff is Sex Down South, which is a part of, we'll see what I'll be manifesting there.
We
Manifesting.
can get back to the pleasure goals for that one, because that we were talking about that the first couple of weeks, and then we kind of got away from it. But adding the pleasure goals to the ask list of like, and actually I think you kind of already have that. It might be about revisiting what does your yoni want, that prompt. So that might be something that would be good to reflect on ahead of that. But yeah.
Absolutely, lots of work to do. And also I did tell my therapist I was going to Sex Down South, and I talked to her about the stuff that we're doing. And so she's like, okay, how many more weeks are y'all gonna be in this temple? Because I want to make sure that I can align your work on doing some of this healing of like while you're doing this with your goddess sister. So we're gonna be ready by September, man. It's gonna be great.
I love that your therapist is so mindful and aware and wanting to be aligned with like where you are and what you're doing and like support that and buttress that. I think that's a beautiful thing.
You're gonna be ready. I was gonna say, are you paused again at Flow?
I paused again.
But I paused.
That's a word.
But
But that's also work, given what you were saying about the need to take a break and the need to rest. So I think that might be a metaphor for the pause, for a sacred pause.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. I love hearing that. When I was looking at the law of manifestation and the co-creator, creating with our creator, or co-creating with our creator, that's a lot of the work that I teach in community. We say nothing about us without us. And so as I was reading it, I'm like, I always think about creating with community and not making things up, making shit up and doing things in our own little bubbles, and then going out and being like, this is how we're going to change things here. But I never think about it as much about co-creating with my own divine creator, and holding space that this isn't just something that's designed for me. And I know that, I know I have a role in it, but I don't always think about it in co-creation with my divine creator. And so that was something that gave me some reflection this week as well, just in regards to holding space with divine a bit more and saying, this is what I'm working on, what you think, this is what I'm thinking, what you think, right? And just holding space for quiet to hear any messages that I might be missing, and also leaning into our deck when I am kind of thinking about something, and seeing if there's something that I can pull from my ancestors' deck, to see if my ancestors want to provide some of the guidance in that co-creation too.
I've been paying attention to, like I spoke maybe last week or earlier this week with somebody about like one of the moments when I knew that I didn't want to be married anymore. I was like training for a half marathon, and I was listening to this book, Seed of the Soul by Zukov, that like Oprah had on her show at some point. And so I had like the audio version of that. And there's a section where he talks about, and this is a white dude, but you know, there are still some interesting gems
We
there.
know white folks
So,
can still offer something. Every
Even
once
the
in a
broad
while.
clock be right twice a day.
That's it right
So
there.
he was talking about intentions and split intentions, and he gives the example of marriage. And so he's like, if your intentions are split about your marriage, then you're not going to be married, right? Because your intentions are split, right? And I remember literally like stopping in my tracks, because this wasn't a time. I mean, of course, there are plenty of things I could complain about the duration of the marriage, but there was not like a particular thing that was going on at that time that would have had me thinking about like ending the marriage necessarily. And I felt so called out, like he had clocked my tea. Like I'm like looking around, like stopping literally in a park start looking around, because it named like something that I had that I didn't have a name for. And eventually I did get happily unmarried and delightfully divorced. And there's other stories along the way that I won't get into now. But I think about that split intention sometimes, and I think about I've been attributing this a little bit to my moon Gemini energy, because there is part of me that wants to build this amazing, fabulous, big, audacious thing, and there's part of me, and they're not necessarily mutually exclusive, and there's part of me that wants to like go off the grid and be quiet and not deal with people, right? And so it's hard to build the one thing when there's also the pull for the other thing, unless I figure out how to like combine the things, kind of thing. And so I've just been reflecting on, even as I'm co-creating, like where are my intentions split? Where am I kind of being double-minded? Where am I kind of wavering? And how can I just, again, continue to get more aligned and clear? Like, I think it's both clarity and courage that are required to manifest the things that I want to manifest. And so I think I actually do have a lot of clarity around it. It's just the courage to move it forward with, considering other things. But so anyway, I say all of that to say the co-creation part, it is important to co-create, but like knowing, like having the clarity and the kind of singular intention, even if it's multiple threads in a, tapestry of things, just the clarity of intention of like, this is the direction that I'm going in, and not giving like mixed signals.
The co-creation part stuck out to me too for two reasons. One is being one of the creators myself, and just thinking about really stepping into my power and reflecting on ways in which I've like given my power away and how I can take that power back, and just and also even tying into last week, like you predict the future by creating it, and how like we have the power to create the lives we want to live and to create our futures. And so I've definitely been doing a lot of reflection around the ways that I've already done that, and creating like my home space and other things, and how I can create a whole, future for myself. But also the co-pilot part of it, and knowing that I can both step into my power and claim my power, but I can also be supported while I'm doing it, and have somebody help me to do it as a co-creator. So that all resonated with me this week.
Ebony, I definitely thought about you because you are so community oriented with the I'm asking for something that not only will make my life better, but also will make the world better. And I think, of course, we all want that. But I do think that you are a great, if I'm an ease person, you represent the, like, you are so committed to community, as evidenced by the opening, which you shared with us with going to help this mama out. So thank you for modeling that for us.
Hmm. I also heard you say, get out, the audacious thing, and then the going and finding something all by yourself. And I feel that pull as well. And so I've actually been thinking about like, how can I do both? And so
Mhm,
even just looking at my backyard space, it's
mhm,
not the biggest backyard, but it's large enough. And I'm excited to have a patio built back there so that I have a little bit more shade. And I was like, because I have so many succulents. Tiff knows, she was just at my house a few weeks back, and I just have lots of things. Like, my garden is the garden that keeps giving. And I was like,
mhm,
because it's just such a safe space, and I don't want to go out and have an event in the community, maybe I can do like a community event for kids where they can just come and learn how to plant succulents, and I wouldn't have to buy anything really, and then just make it open to, some of our little Black babies, and like have a chance to get their hands in the dirt. But that's something that I'm like, oh, it's in my safe space, and I can bring community in. They don't have to be in my actual home, but they can be in the backyard. And so just finding the balance of like honoring, I don't want to be outside sometimes. And also like, I could have the backyard open and be like, come on, children, let's plant some pots, and then send them home and be done, and relax for the rest of the day. But my heart's full. So yeah,
I
I
love that the garden is a garden that keeps giving, and the
really
metaphor of that
does.
as well, just the metaphor of like abundance and harvesting. So
Yeah.
yes to that too.
Yes, yes. Well, the ways to honor our goddess Modjadi, they gave a few ways to first, to honor the goddess in us was one of her messages. Not just to honor her, is to honor the goddess in us and allow our blessings to flow. Rainmakers make it rain. So we will be making it rain. But also, some of the symbols are a private garden, with cycad trees, real yellowwood trees, springbok antelope, and blue crane birds, among other animals. Her colors are gold, orange, red, and white. She has a few other things like suggested offerings, which is a bowl of fresh rainwater on our goddess altar, or dancing in the rain. I was telling Tiffany yesterday I was planning to bring, but I was coming straight from the mama's house, her some rainwater because my son came over and set up a rainwater system. So I have a huge barrel now overflowing with rainwater. And so I have not yet, because it's been so busy, had a chance to bring that rainwater into my home this week. I've been bringing it in, watering my indoor plants, and just using it for a number of different things. But I'm excited to bring it to my altar space too. And tonight is, I want to say, the Libra waxing. Is it the Libra waxing moon tonight? I
The
believe
pink
so.
moon or something magical.
Yeah.
I think that's the 12th, right? Is that tonight going into tomorrow?
Okay, I think
Or
it
tomorrow.
might be. Yeah, so a good opportunity to charge our crystals with the moon water. Let the water sit outside and let it be charged by the moon. Add our crystals, and set some really good intentions and manifestations as well.
I was thinking about you and your rainwater last night too, and how wet you make it all the time. But no, I was surprised when you told me how much water, because we are in Sacramento and it is a very dry area, and we have not recently been in our wet and rainy season. So I was surprised when you said like it can rain just for a couple hours and it's completely full. And so I was also just reflecting on that as a metaphor of like, even when you're living in a space where like water seems scarce in California, like you have water that's overflowing, and how can we step into that energy with like all of the crazy things that are going on in the world, that like we can still be overflowing despite all of the challenges and the tariffs and all of the other debauchery happening.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Was anyone able to do any of the rituals this week?
I did write down like the ask ritual, because there are some things that are kind of coming up that I was like, okay, these are things that I can name like unambiguously. I think I'm going to try to this weekend to do the bathing one, and it does rain a lot here, so it shouldn't be hard for me to get my hands on some rainwater within say the week. But I didn't get any from my altar yet.
But like, I just need to be honest and admit that I got like 2 weeks of rituals to catch up. Like, not even 2 weeks, like 2 weeks from the book. Like, I need 2 straight weeks of every day working on rituals, because I still have not finished my Grigri bag, although we got
Same.
magnets and stuff together. So I still need to finish that. I still got some yoni steaming to do. I still got so like there's so many things that I have to do. And so I do, when my travel slows down, I did take off some vacation time at the end of the academic year where I'm not traveling and not doing anything. And so that is going to be partially getting my like house back in order, because I haven't had time to do that because of everything going on. But really just like spending time and space leaning into some of the rituals that I have not fully completed physically, even though they're complete in my heart.
Yes. Complete in your heart. I feel that because I've got some as well. I still want to take my spiritual bath. I wasn't able to get to that, but I do love my Grigri bag, y'all. I get to touch it every day when I walk past it. I have it hanging in a special place. So yes, when you have that time to catch up, I'm looking forward to hearing how
I'll bring
you
I'll bring my
enjoy it.
Grigri bag here for accountability to show y'all I actually did it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, are we ready to pull some cards, or what are we thinking?
One more thing I just wanted to note before we go to the card pull.
Yeah.
Every time I look at it, it's just like the joy that she has, right, as she's making it rain. And so it makes me smile every time I go to the front page, just seeing how joyful she is, and the invitation that she gives us to like just be full of joy and happiness and celebrate and wave our hands in the air like that, like we just don't care. So
I agree. I was you didn't get to, I know it was dark, so I don't know if you saw my rain making dance outside when I was walking off. But I was, when we were talking about even the planning of the trip, Tiffany was like, you need some more time to think about it. And I'm like, no, we're doing this. I said, we're doing this. And then we rainmaking dancing. So I walked to my car and I had my arms up and I was dancing by myself. Tiffany shut the door, so she didn't get to see the full experience, but
I missed it.
I do believe there is something to, saying this is what we're doing, we're moving to it, we make the plans, and then we get to celebrate just, because sometimes just some of the day-to-day stuff, putting one foot in the other, and putting one foot in front of the other can be difficult. And so I just appreciate even celebrating some of these little things like this. But I don't think, going to Tanzania is a little thing. I think
It's a big thing. I'm really excited about it.
Me too.
After you left, I got on YouTube and was watching zebra crossing rivers.
A time will be had.
I'm excited that you guys are excited. I will say, so people don't think, well, dang, her sister ain't get invited, that that Tiff did reach out and invite me, and I was like, I'm not feeling it, because I'm just in a season where I just want to be still and rest, and I'm honoring that season for myself. And so I'm like, okay, if you really want or need me there, then I can be there. But and so she's like, I'm good with solo traveling, and Eb is definitely down with some of these trips. So shout out to Eb for traveling with Tiff. And shout out to Tiff to extending the invitation, and shout out to me for like, this is what my ease looks like, is like just really being still. That's just the season that I'm in. I feel like the last trip, although I do have some other things coming up, but coming back from California after the winter break, I was like, yeah, I'm kind of done for a while with the travel. So I'm excited that you guys are excited about the trip, and I appreciate y'all's honor and my sacred no about joining the trip.
Thank you for your no.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for your no, and thank you for not joining us.
I love that. And we'll say, because we were talking about this at the beginning, for the audience, I told a story about being with a Dom at one point where he would ask permission to do things. And if he said yes, if I said yes, he said thank you. And if I said no, he also said thank you. And it was a reminder, like, I appreciated like gratitude being expressed for my no and for my boundaries. And I recognized that I had like this fear of saying no, that was a helpful experience for me to get beyond. And so this is like now a thing of like, thank you for your no, thank you for your boundaries. So that's what we're doing when we say that.
I'm using it more, and I'm allowing that. So I love that the kink community is bringing some good lessons into other communities too, because we should all be thanking people for their no's and thanking people for their boundaries, and that is what will help us create more healthier relationships too, because no one wants to put a boundary down, especially when it's hard for them, and then to feel guilted for it and not feel respected for it, or any of the things that come along with sometimes when we hear no. And so it's important for us to honor that for folks.
Definitely. And there are so many boundary violators out here where you say no, and they're like,
what I was gonna say.
They are, because it's just like, are you sure? Will it only take this amount of time? It's not going to be that much work, and like, and they will pile on all this stuff. And we've talked about this before, like, you resent saying yes to something that you didn't actually want to say yes to, and they're happy to exploit whatever it is, that you're giving them, and then you're stuck with the resentment. So we need to honor our own sacred no and sacred yes first and foremost, but I think it is powerful to honor and express gratitude when people say no to us.
Yeah, agreed. And I also love that, we can all still get what we need, right? It's like I extended that opportunity to you, but I truly I love traveling solo. And I have been getting like really excited and looking at like which hotel and what city and what country am I going to go to. And so I'm really looking forward to this solo birthday trip. And my sacred no of not doing a friend group trip, because I'm like, that's just not what I need right now for my birthday. And how do I honor not prioritizing their wants and their needs, but prioritizing what I want and need, especially on my birthday. So yay to me for my sacred no, yay to you for your sacred no. That gives me my like alone solitude as well, and I'm gonna have a great time. And yay to Ebony for her sacred yes, because I did not want to go to Tanzania alone. And so that is one that, as I prepare for this sabbatical where I may be doing a lot of solo travel, I wanted this is a good toe in the door with someone who I know I'll have fun with and who I know I'll feel safe with. And so thanks to everybody's yeses and everybody's no's. It's gonna be great.
That'd be
It's
great.
going to
That's
be
a whole
great.
word right there. But yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All
Me and
right.
Ebony still trying to figure out how to get upgraded.
Yeah, I plan on
Listen, y'all
proposing.
gotta ask in ceremony. Go on and
Yeah.
ask for the upgrades.
We will.
Yeah.
We'll also have some planned theatrics for the airport. I plan
I might
on.
be getting proposed to.
If you could actually text me your ring size, I will be.
I support this 100% because like look, y'all are just honoring the goddess of the week who could take on wives and not husbands. So I'm here for it.
Listen. We're gonna make it happen. We'll keep you posted.
Yes. Stay tuned, viewers. We'll report back.
Oh my goodness. All right, let's pull some cards.
So since you let Ebony, do you want to pull a community card? Look, all my cards, they all ready to jump out as soon as I open
Right.
them up.
Dang. Yeah, I'll pull a community card and my card. Actually, I'll pull community card first since that one just jumped in. I said, okay, let's make this community. Mhm. All right, I'll get it started. All right. I pulled card 33, which is Mame Kumba Bang. It is the Speak Up card. She is the goddess of speaking up out of Senegal. Temple is Griots, the element is water. Mama Kumba Bang protects the mouth of the Senegal River. When making an offering to her, you must not speak to anyone else, coming or going. Sing for her, chant for her, call to her, give Goddess Kumba your voice and she'll be happy. So the guidance is speak up, speak out, speak on it. You have a right to be heard. And the embodiment is you are betraying yourself by not speaking up. Your words have power. Own your voice. As the old saying goes, stand up for something or fall for anything. Being neutral is not an option. When you stand firmly in your truth, you have thoughts, opinions, beliefs, and convictions. What do you stand for? Tell someone today. The goddess declaration is I reclaim my voice, I speak up and speak out.
That is a powerful community card under the current, with everything that is happening in the world right now.
Yeah. I was thinking about that as I was reading it, and I was thinking, I know there was, I think it was just this past weekend, there were all of the protests that took place across the United States, and I loved seeing so many community members being like, nah, we gonna sit this one out. And so I think when out of the context of speaking up, it doesn't have to be in that context when we need rest. And when we have been speaking up for and speaking out and sharing our truth and then it gets shitted on. This message means I think something for everyone in many different ways. I know certainly as I read it, community being all of us, including us here, it can look many different ways, especially considering the current climate.
Yeah, when you first started reading it, I was thinking like, oh, Professor K was literally just talking about your throat chakra and how you can like not only write down your desires, which all of us are really good at, but like saying them out loud and how powerful that is. So that's where I started. But then by the end, I went to thinking about all the things that are going on in this world that we need to speak up for and speak up against and use our voices and solidarity. So a perfect community card.
Yeah, sure.
What you pull for yourself, Boo?
I'm gonna pull it right now. All right. I got another one that I'm going to struggle with pronouncing. It's 42 Ayasan, miracles. And so this is the goddess of miracles from Haiti. The temple is high priestesses. The element is bush. Mambo priestess Ayazan is the wise Haitian Iwa, queen of the market, riches, and sacred initiations. Respect her as the highly venerated spirit of the first priestess. Her guidance is you are a magnet for miracles. You are a miracle. What if you truly allowed yourself to believe? All things are possible. Dare to dream bigger. Okay. You claim you want miracles, but you take an "I'll believe it when I see it" approach. What if you will see it after you believe it? Believe that you deserve to be, do, have the world you want for yourself. Believe that you deserve to be, do, have the world you want for yourself. You can be your true self, do what awakens your soul, and have your desires. This is life's miracle. If you haven't witnessed your miracle yet today, ask for it and allow it in. The declaration is, my life is full of miracles.
I love that one too. How are you
Beautiful.
receiving that?
I love it. I'm going to ask for my miracle today because I have not. So I'm going to allow it in. And I love that. I think there's been a constant message of there's more. There's more. And I think that that's just continues to confirm that.
I love this for you for so many reasons. One, I think it really aligns with the manifestation that we've been like reflecting on for this week. For now, how do we get the miracle to help manifest it? But also, I just want to put this card up. And Ebony, I want you to go back and look at your birthday and the pictures you took of your birthday in your peacock chair, holding the bouquet of the cupcake flowers and the way you have your hair tied up right now. Like, this is you. Right. As soon as I looked at this card, I'm like, oh, look at my boo, look at my friend. So I love that you pulled a card that is like literally the embodiment of you. And so I look forward to all the miracles you're going to manifest for yourself this week.
Love that. Thank you. I received it
This
for
weekend
sure.
moving forward.
Yeah, this life and the next life and the next life and the next life. Yeah.
Ashe.
I really love this permission to be yourself and to be a desiring being and to have what awakens your soul, right? Like that naming, you can be your true self, do what awakens your soul, and have your desires, right? Like because a lot of times I think we've been conditioned to believe we have to choose, like we have to sacrifice or put part of ourselves down in order for something else. And so it's like a way of honoring all parts of ourselves. So I love that aspect of it as well.
Pastor K, you want to pull the next card, your card?
Yes, I pulled my card and it is Inkozasana, Celestial Alignment,
What number?
number 41.
Beautiful.
Who doesn't love celestial alignment?
I know we talk a lot about alignment, so I love this. Okay, so this is the goddess of celestial alignment, Zulu, South Africa, temple high priestesses, element water, and we've been talking about water. Inkozasana is the healer of the healer of healers and the teacher of teachers, whose love for humanity makes the corn grow. She dwells in foamy waters, but is known as the heavenly princess. As above, so below is celestial alignment. The guidance, your natural path is to be in alignment with your own divinity. No one can take from you what they didn't give you. Embodiment, how do you want to feel? You think often about what you want, but goddess energy speaks to us in feelings. Celestial alignment is being in sync with the energetic feeling, the frequency of the sacred. Everything that you desire is in that frequency. Match it with your feelings. That is the energy of goddess. Goddess declaration. I am always being guided in the right direction. Okay, I love this because as a philosopher and thinker, I'm always in my head. And even though I am a Cancer sun sign, like I really do have to be intentional about connecting to the feelings because I go to the thinking before I go to the feeling. And so I love this reminder to be guided by the feelings. I love this reminder to be in alignment. I love this declaration, no one can take from you what they didn't give to you. And just again, the frequency talk, which we also talked about a little bit with the goddess that we worked on this week in terms of like vibration and attraction. So so I am definitely appreciating this as well, and the reminder to stay connected to the feelings of the things and how the desire feel. Like we have this, again, we're high achievers, we're like goal oriented, so we have these outcomes that we think about, but I think sometimes like I have to remind myself to what do I actually want to feel? Because the feeling is something that will guide you in a different way than just like whatever that outcome thing is, which can be elusive, right? Like it's like you can achieve the thing and then it's like, okay, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? What's the next thing? But connecting to that core desire feeling, I think is important. So I love this reminder.
Yeah, I love this one too. I am also a Cancer sun sign with all of the feelings. But there are so many times where like you just have to keep those feelings bottled up, right? Where you either have to like become like desensitized or compartmentalized in order to be able to function just with everything that's going on in the world. And so I have been doing a lot more reflection about just like creating time and space and safety for me to like to just like sit with the feelings and not have to like put them in a box and lock them away, but like just like let them breathe. And so I appreciate having this invitation today. And I also love celestial alignment. And I think that for me helps tie into like all this work that I've been doing and thinking about how I better align, how I spend my work time with what the goddesses want me to be doing in this world. So I love this for all these reasons. And looking at this one, reminds me of me and you in Jamaica, Professor K, when you had on that rainbow not sorry, but sarong, and you were still doing your weekly your writing group, but because they could only see you from the top up, you looked like you were naked because your shoulders were out. But but so this also looks like your card looks like you this week too, with you and your rainbow sarong in Jamaica.
Yes to Rainbow Sarongs in Jamaica. Love my writing group who were like, wouldn't be surprised if I was out naked in Jamaica while I was writing. So I love that the people who come to me know that that is just part of who I am as well. But also that Jamaica trip, I manifested some really good experiences there as well. So shout out to the pleasure
You want to
giver in
share any
Jamaica.
further, or you just want to leave it at that? Leave it to everyone's imagination.
Well, I will say there was a very attractive, very handsome, very kind and sweet person that I met there. I did check in about the age because I do have my age, my over under thing, but he made the the cut as far as the age under mine. And I was like, as soon as I saw him, I was like, yes, please and thank you. And we were supposed to all go to something and we ended up not go. Well, I didn't really feel like going. And he was like, oh, well, I was only going because you were going. So then he was like, well, maybe we can go somewhere else. And I'm like, yeah, we could definitely go somewhere else. So we had a time. I got my sensual needs and sexual needs, but I actually just posted a thing about that with Atlanta too. So it was definitely a space for me to do all the things. Like I was working on my book proposal. No, I was starting to work on fellowship applications for the Audre Lorde book at that point. I was still meeting with the writing group. So like my high achiever writer, part of myself was fulfilled. And then also like embracing my sensuality, my sexuality, my erotic empowerment in that space with ease, right? Like it was easy. It wasn't like a back and forth. It wasn't, hard. Tiff was definitely like, okay, I'm gonna, drop your pen so I can make sure that you're whatever, and I'll stay up to make sure that you get it back and all of that kind of stuff. But
I'm
yeah,
so
it was
glad I did because you got locked out of the resort. The security guard on duty was sleeping in his car.
No way.
But before she even called me, I could hear her. I was like, my sister.
That is too
So,
funny.
all the shenanigans.
all the shenanigans. But again, like it's like all aspects of yourself can be, you can get all of the things that you want. Like the desires of your heart are just available with you. Like I think that was a great example of that. Like we enjoy some sister time, we enjoy some water time. We got some work done, I got some work done on me. We got massages, we got different kinds of body work. The
body work I got was different than the body work that you got, but we both got what we needed at that time.
We all got.
And so I love that for us.
I
But also,
love
just
that.
as you say that, it ties into how you started the discussion today with the different ways that you show up in the different course offerings that you have. And so I love this invitation to continue to like meet all of the different needs and the different aspects of your personality. So I love that for you.
Yay.
Awesome.
Shout out to Jamaica because I feel like I had the same experience. I was just with my mama and my kids, and she was the one making sure I got back and dropped my location. So shout out to Jamaica.
Yeah, we have not had any bad experiences there. Like we had one of our first
to visit.
Yeah. Yeah,
Our
one of
first sister trip was to
our
Jamaica.
first sister trip was Jamaica, and we had an
Okay.
amazing time there. That was like more than 20 years ago at this point, which we'd forgotten. Like it didn't seem like it could have been that long. But yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah, that was our first sister trip. Domestic or international. We had never traveled together before that, like with just me and you without Queenie Bee, without our mom. So and it was wonderful and amazing and like just what I needed at the end of my intern year and good food and good vibes. And yeah, every time I go to Jamaica, it's one of my happy places. Mhm.
Mhm.
All right.
All right, what you got for
The
us?
card that I pulled is Asasaya, Joy. This is what she looks like. She's number 16. So this is the goddess. Oh no, wrong one. Ooh, somehow I went back to the goddess of desire. My book went there or something.
Both
Okay.
and
Okay. All right. All right.
Right.
Universe. All
Go
right.
ahead and pull 2 cards.
We'll go back there too. We'll go back there too. Sasaya, the goddess of joy, from the Ashanti tribe in Ghana. She's in the temple of warriors in the element bush. Goddess Asasaya rules life and death as the joyful crone celebrated as Mama Earth. Her energy is loving, fertile, and nurturing, and her name is invoked at major life transitions. Her guidance: your happiness matters. Joy is sacred. Your laughter waters the earth. Embodiment: you deserve to be happy. It is safe for you to feel good. Allow yourself to feel joy with no limits. This is a self-love. Your happiness doesn't need to look like anyone else's. If you can't imagine it, you won't be able to live it. Giggle therapy breaks. Close your eyes and see yourself joy-filled. Now laugh with your mouth and your eyes wide open. Try it to release feel-good endorphins. And the goddess declaration is, I feel like me when I'm happy. I love this for me and for us and for the community. I love inviting in Black Girl Joy. Things that stick out to me as something that I've been processing as we're in this sacral chakra is kind of my issues with the pleasure that we talked about. And so even as I read, like, you deserve to be happy, you deserve to have joy, it's also reminding me, like, you deserve to have pleasure too, as a part of that happiness and that joy. And also have been kind of grappling with issues around safety. And so I love this embodiment of it's safe for you to feel good. So this was like perfect for clocking my tea again this week. Good card.
Yeah, that clocked your tea all the way.
Yeah.
Can we also just talk about your laugh?
I giggle a lot. And so I invite the giggle therapy.
Yeah, and you just have a healthy, hearty laugh, right? And so it's so funny that they're like, take this giggle therapy break, because your laugh is infectious and it gives everybody a good giggle break.
I giggle a lot.
Yeah.
I giggle a lot. It's funny because I hear that in the ED a lot. And like, people will come from around the corner and they'll be like, I heard your laugh, Dr. Johnson. Came over.
Exactly.
And so I love that about myself, that I can giggle and laugh and bring that joy. And I accept the invitation for giggle breaks. Yeah, I'm like a little tickle Elmo.
I love this like emphasis on the good, because you pulled that card before, which you named it's okay, it feels good to be good, it's good to feel good, like the good. So I love that you keep coming across.
Like, we gonna keep giving it to you until you fully believe it and embrace it, embody it. So I love it.
Yes, and I love that the goddess declaration. I feel like me when I'm happy. It also reminded me of that quote, that Zora Neale Hurston quote, when she's like, I love myself when I'm laughing, and then again when I'm looking mean and impressive, right? So like, again, embracing the full range of who we are, all the things.
Yeah. Yeah. These cards always be clocking our tea. They're always so good. I love the cards we pull for ourselves individually. I think they resonate with where we are and what they need, but there's also a piece for us to pick for ourselves from everybody else's cards too. So the alchemy is alchemying.
So true, so true.
Mhm.
Any last thoughts as we close our time up?
My last thoughts are I love y'all
I
and
love y'all.
I'm glad we're back. Oh yeah, it doesn't do like FaceTime, right? Where it does.
Wait, on FaceTime, is it backwards? What does it do?
On Face. Oh, yours does.
Oh,
Mine up.
No, it doesn't. I just
Oh.
did it with the
Oh. Look, I'm all.
I love how excited y'all got. Y'all literally just embodied the card. Like, the
I love being in space with y'all, and I'm really I got some new props thanks to Tiffany to prop my cards up on
Oh, yeah.
in my space. So I'm excited to take our cards and move them into a space where they're held up and I can see them through the week. And I hope community has a space where they can think about the messages they also might have received today and can bring them into their space as well. But
And we should say, because we don't do this, but we should say, like, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, to like, to comment. If you're following along with us in the book, if you're pulling cards, or if you're just listening to the, what we're reading from the cards being pulled and things are resonating with you, like, drop it in the comments, drop your insights, drop what you're manifesting, what kind of alchemy you're working, what's resonating with you, and we will pay attention to the comments and respond in the comments.
yeah, that's a good point because I did get a question around like, would I be a poser if I pulled cards myself or if I bought this deck? Like, like, am I doing something that's not like right or spiritually aligned? Like, and I was like, oh, I thought about it like, oh, we guess we haven't given enough context. Like this is for the streets. It belongs to all of us, right? Like, this is not, we don't have any special secret sauce that allows us to purchase this and do this work no different than anybody else. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that it's sometimes folks, even when I'm doing things like burning Palo Santo, I think you were just doing that, Professor K, before we got started, and just cleansing and clearing space. That's not a practice that needs to be held with just certain folks. Like, we all can lean into any of these practices that align and feel right for our own spirits and our hearts and our minds and our souls. And so I think it's important to just name that because not all the questions sometimes find their way into our, may not find their way there. But if you do, as Professor K said, have questions, maybe someone else might be having that same question. So ask it and we will respond.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll also say the opposite is also true. So just as you said, like, this is for yours, for the things that resonate with you, take them. But also the things that don't resonate with you, we're also happy to hear how these things, how it hits for you, because it may hit for you in a different way. And we love to hear those different perspectives because different people get different things from the message. And that's what I love about it. And I'm not someone who is trained in tarot and cards and oracles. Like, the way I approach it is I get to choose what it means to me, and I get to leave behind what doesn't resonate with me. And so we invite our audience to do the same thing as well.
That's right. All right.
Okay.
Well,
Till next time.
Till next time. Thank y'all.
Good to see y'all.
Good to see you.
Oh, I can make it do it too. Oh wait, let's see.
Look, right. Let's try. Okay, I'll let you do it for all of us. There it is. All right, y'all. Have a good one.